So give us your history. I'm super interested in, like where you started and how you became, who you are today. Were you like me? Were you a simpy nice guy at some point?
No, no. So I was in so just as a baby, my parents like showed me these fucking patterns in my crib. They got from some psychology magazine. If you show your baby these patterns and you talk to them, and they built a mobile out of these fucking like geometric patterns, and with the idea that it would make me a genius. And apparently it worked. That with a combination of they taught me how to like read, write, and do math at like 2 years old. So in
Wow.
kindergarten, I was like copying the globe onto a piece of loose leaf because I was so bored. I mean, I vividly remember doing that. And so they like triple promoted me to second grade. I had an IQ of 134. And my parents would always call me a fucking genius. They would call me their ace in the hole. Right. So I
Interesting.
was just a kid. I didn't know if I was a genius. I just took their word for it. But like as a kid,
Were you the only child?
no, younger
Were you the
sister.
oldest? So
I have a younger sister. But like
okay,
they
interesting.
would just tell me I was a genius. I didn't know. I was just a kid. I just took their word for it. So I had this fucking ego. And women like guys with a fucking ego who think that they're better than everyone.
Yeah.
I was always just a funny asshole. But also it was like I was always the shortest, smartest kid in my classes. So I always had something to prove. So I was always just very outspoken, always in trouble, always unafraid to say whatever the fuck I thought was funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically not I wasn't really a people pleasing, but I kind of was like gesture maxing as a fucking kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you start gesture maxing that fucking young, you calibrate and you figure out what actually works.
It's so interesting you say that because that's a very similar childhood as my buddy I was mentioning, and he's got a super high IQ. He was one of the tallest kids as well. He played a lot of basketball, so he's friends with all the black guys. And he lost his virginity at like age 12.
Yeah, 13 for me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and when I first met him, we met through a poker deal. We were both trying to start like we both played online poker, and we were trying to
Poker was
start this
huge
business.
back then.
Yeah, exactly. This is 2004,
Yeah, Chris fucking
5.
moneymaker. Hell yeah,
Exactly.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time with Jamie Gold, if you know that name. He won the World Series.
Yeah, I do know that guy. That fucking guy. What a real punchable face on that guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, the guy I was talking about, he was banging girls when he was 12, 13, on the basketball team, hanging out with all the black dudes, who had swag and game. And after we met through poker and I told him about, the pickup industry, he was like, oh my God, what a bunch of fucking nerds. Look at these fucking dorks calling themselves pickup artists and this and that. And he was spot on because at the time it was.
Oh, I didn't. So basically, the second half of my story is that in 2014, I found RSD videos. And then I was like, bro, I just do all of this shit instinctively. I didn't think they were nerds. I just thought they were. But I thought everyone could do this. I thought I had a blind
Yeah.
spot that my internal reality was true for everyone. But what I didn't realize is that like I had like my lack of need for approval was like the number one fucking social currency that most people just really didn't have. So basically, I went from like unconscious competence to like conscious competence. I started learning the mechanics behind the magic.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys would call you a natural. What do you think of that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was a natural, and then once I started, I have a very obsessive fucking personality. So I'm pretty sure that I watched every single RSD video that existed. I binged them like I would fall asleep to them, wake up to them. So being a natural paired with this like rabid consumption of game content now, and I never stopped consuming game content. So I'm kind of like a walking encyclopedia of game now.
Nice. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Owen Cook stuff that he's been posting recently.
The guy knows what he's fucking talking about.
He sure does. It's good to see him posting again because RSD went dark for a few years there, and
Yeah, he kind of like the story behind that. He took everyone's fucking videos down. He's like, well, I own all this fucking content. If you don't want to associate with the brand and go your own way, fuck you. That's my shit. You can't sell your product based off of my. So I mean, he's running a business that's very cutthroat and just the way it is. But yeah, I wish those RSD Julian videos were still up because I've tried to make bitches bark like a fucking dog, just like Julian used to. You know what I mean? I loved Julian and Jeffy.
yeah, the Jeffy show was great. So how old are you?
38.
Okay, I'm 43. Okay, so I got into this stuff when I was in like 2005-ish. What about you? When did you start?
2014.
2014. Okay, got it. Yeah, I think RSD kind of stopped kind of offering stuff around that time, right? Or 2017, 2018?
Yeah, 2016. I remember basically 2014 and 2016. I consumed every single fucking video they had, and then I was just doing games 6 days a week, and I was a bartender, and I was going out 6 days a week for 3-4 years, and I racked up a huge lay count. That's when I started, like, kind of, so quote unquote, working with John Anthony, basically just like talking about shit, basically like coaching people through Facebook groups and shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And so, yeah, I was living in Kiev, Ukraine at the time. Max Torno from RSD was there as well. I moved there in 2018 after being nomadic for a couple years, and I got fed up with Western women. Not that I didn't do well with them. I was partners in model houses, and we had a pretty crazy social circle funnel built.
They weren't even that bad back then.
No, it was wasn't there was no OnlyFans then. It was if girls wanted to be hoes, they were, out there being hoes. They weren't getting paid for it, more or less. So seeking arrangements came on the scene like right around, 2016. I kind of used that as a funnel into my, party trips and social circle, but it was so new at the time. So yeah, so tell me about so you're a bartender, obviously, and that tracks with being a natural. And after you consumed all those videos and, you're doing your thing, like what, I think I pretty much know your stance on relationships now, but I want to kind of hear it from you, and I want to hear about your experiences there.
Look, man, I ate shit and got my heart broken a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just being a natural, I wasn't a full-blown sociopath, never have been. I would say that I'm much closer to one now. Just basically, it takes getting your fucking heart ripped out several times by women that you miscategorize. I would categorize women as this is the one that doesn't play games. This is the special one. And then eventually, if you don't live up to your end of the bargain, she defaults back to that evil female nature. Basically, it was just like trial by fire, learning that, okay, all women are like this. If you aren't leading her, and then it basically brought me to the realization that really how good a woman is, in my definition, is how well they can regulate their female nature, and that all depends on how well you lead her. So yeah, but my stance on relationships now are that I can have more than one girlfriend, and if I care about you, you can't have any more boyfriends. That's kind of just like the king's mentality. You know what I mean?
I think that's where most relationships kind of end up. If you've got a very masculine guy who isn't going to, take any shit, and, a girl who's in love with him, if he's like, it's my way or the highway, and she understands he's the best I can do, ultimately she's going to agree to whatever, gets to keep her in your life. And she'll typically be happy with that setup too.
Yep. Kevin Samuels talked about this. He said something like the bottom bitches that supported their man and knew their man would cheat and understood it and played their role as their main bitch. He said that the ones that he met were all very beautiful, successful, educated Black women that just basically understood their place and supported their man and understood that their man literally did love them, but just needed variety due to his testosterone. Yeah. So women do understand this.
Yeah, they think they totally understand it and they get it. And I think as they get older, they start to understand it at a deeper level. Obviously, the where you live and the culture can change things a bit with that. Have you primarily been in the U.S., Detroit area, or have you?
I haven't really left at all, really.
Okay, I haven't spent much time in Detroit. Did a little bit of game, I guess, in Chicago and ran a couple boot camps there, but
that's cool.
Yeah, my dad's from my parents met at Ann Arbor.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Midwest girls are they're nice, they're sweet, they're fun. I lived in New York for a while, and that was like the sort of, I don't know, I call it the epicenter of feminism. And you'd get all these girls who are, I graduated from Poughkeepsie University. I'm a lawyer, and I I eat guys like you for breakfast, and it's just like, come on. They all sort of bend to your frame.
Yeah, if you're that dude, yes, for sure.
Yeah. So when did you start posting content? Is Instagram your main channel? I want to kind of talk to you about how you ascended into sort of your coaching role and how you got into all that. And
I started posting under the moniker "Bitches Ain't Shit" on November 22nd, and I think my one reel about each second that passes. Each second that moves forward, she loses value. Second that moves forward, you gain value. What makes you think that you're so lucky you picked the best bitch out of 4 billion bitches? That was the first reel that I recorded. And that one like went super mega viral. And I was literally.
And that was just last November?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering and an MBA. And I was about to get a fucking job. Like I was about to get an engineering job. Because before this, I was the 4th largest used camera dealer on Amazon. And they pulled the plug on my store. I did like $1.1 million in sales, 2024. They pulled the plug on my store because I'm an idiot. Long story short. And I broke the rules. I was basically just like floating around, literally like, mooching off of women that I seduce. But then I was about to get a job and then this reel popped. And then I was like, well, I have enough savings to keep myself afloat for maybe 4 months. I have to go all in on this thing. And then I literally just went all in on the thing. And I was posting about 20 reels a day for 90 days.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I felt I could sell a product, my background in e-commerce and being very tech savvy, I immediately had a website and a product for sale. And then it all just took off from there.
Amazing. Yeah. Congrats on the quick ascension to success in the.
Yeah, bro. I really fucking sunk my teeth into it. And I was kind of in a survival mode. So I had to make something happen. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you have such a polarizing voice, and it's a voice that needs to be heard. Recently I've been working with one of my clients in the group, and he's just like a raging nice guy. And, I tell him to read The Rational Male, 3 times or whatever, but that book can be a little bit heady. Like the first time I tried to read it, I put it down, and 3 years later when I got my heart, smashed by some chick at Burning Man, I was like, all right, I'll read it again. And then it took on a whole new meaning and kind of got to the deeper chapters and understood more about, female nature and hypergamy and all that stuff. But, I told this guy recently, just binge watch Jake's content. Like that's a better, download.
All those ideas into like digestible, funny packages for dudes, for like the lay person, you know what I mean? I feel like it works. I found a voice that works.
Yeah. And are you able to just riff that stuff?
Hell yeah, bro.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, I'm jealous. I wish I could rip like that.
That's the beauty of it, bro. Like I just have my phone on me. So first of all, I'm addicted to YouTube, bro. So I literally just consume so much fucking content. So I'll watch other people's content and then I'll be like, ooh, I can say that in a way better way, and I can add this little concept into it too. And I fucking do that and then repackage it and then boom, 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 boom. And I just fucking spit it out and then record it. And I was doing 20 fucking reels a day. So
amazing. And so how long does it take you to record those? Because if you're just kind of free flowing, or are you sitting down and like recording it as chunks, or are you just?
So I use TikTok to record. So I like record a chunk and then I stop, and then I record a chunk and I stop, and then I port it to Adobe Premiere app, and then I cut out all the spaces and I add my little fucking background music. So it's real fucking quick.
The little like transition to use, like the punch sound, that's entertaining. I like that. Yeah.
When I started using the fucking Ocarina of Time background music and Final Fantasy VII background music, that started an era of like basically just like a lot more engagement. Some people that don't even give a fuck about what I'm saying, just here for the Final Fantasy VII music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So not only that, and like the fact that you can name me without naming me, with the fucking Newport hoodie and the sword and the fucking whiteboard, have you seen that guy with the fucking katana and the whiteboard talking about bitches? Like that, just having them be able to name me without naming me that's like a very key component for virality.
Right. Yeah. You're basically like a meme. You're a character.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd you come up with the sword thing? And
bro, I just had the sword. I literally just had the sword and I needed a pointer. And I just started, it literally just like fucking came together piecemeal, and it was not premeditated.
Really?
You know?